But you know what, First Lady, and I'm glad that you brought that up because it brings us right back to the first full circle. That happens when you what? Step away from the principles of communication. You step away from the covenant, right? We're talking about going back to the covenant. Well, a lot of us have stepped away, and when you stepped away from the covenant of God, when you get away from the instructional manual and start doing your own thing, that's where all these other things happen. Let's go back again. Let's take him back to Adam and Eve, because we see there where Adam and Eve, you know, the flow continues. See, miscommunication, the devil comes in, Eve now takes of the fruit, she eats of it, and now the man decides to come back on the scene now, and now he partakes of it, and now they have now what? Disobeyed the commandment of God, and now the sin has now entered into the world through Adam and Eve. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Now what happened is now, this thing is not just about I took it, I touched it, I bit into it, I swallowed it, it tastes good. But the thing here is that when Eve did this and when Adam followed through with it, they what? Stepped away, they walked away from the covenant of God. And then when you walk away from the covenant of God, you can see the first thing that starts to happen there is guilt sets in. And then, right, because they went and hide and they try to make clothes out of little leaves. Mm-hmm. Come on now, they can't make no clothes out of no leaves. But glory be to God, hallelujah, we have a God that was able to go out there and get them some sheepskin and dress them up right. But that's another story. But here's the thing. In doing that, they stepped away, and the first thing that begins after the conscience gets affected is the next thing that follows is communication. Because then God comes to Adam and says, Adam, where are you, Adam? Because you're sure not in my covenant anymore. Amen. Adam, where are you? So Adam says, I heard you coming, and we hid ourselves. And he says, why did you do that? He said, did you do something? Did you eat of that fruit? I told you not. He says, yes, I did. He said, why did you do that? I'm paraphrasing, right? Why did you do that, Adam? That woman that you gave me. Now watch how the communication now takes on a whole new meaning, face, a new face, yeah. New pattern. Yeah. Now the pointing of the finger. He didn't say he says the woman that you gave me. Now the blame is now shifted from him to two other people, to God first, yeah. And to the woman. He says, the woman that, in other words, you gave me that woman. You messed up, God, and you, woman, you gave me. So now Adam is not taking any blame. Now the blaming game is start, the pointing of fingers start, and the communication now begins to erode. Yes. Yes. He turns to the woman and he says, and why did you do that? He says, she says, the devil made me do. Now she's not taking any responsibility. Now she's blaming the devil, right? See what we're talking about here? How it is important. All of this started. Why? Because there were not any clarity in the communication. There was misunderstanding.
And a lot of times that's how one of the main sins between the man and the woman, that's how it happens, right? With adultery. I'm talking about adultery. Yes. Right? One or the other feels like the focus is not on them. So then there's a serpent out there that gets the other person's attention.
Thing, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. It could be a coworker at work, mm-hmm. Right? And then sometimes I have issues with that because, and you should too as a married person, because there is no woman that should be having tons of conversations about anything with your husband at work. Same thing for the wife. Yeah. There is no man that should be having tons of conversations with your wife at work.
And I like the way you said that once, First Lady. You said that, you know what, there is no man or no woman out there that is that important to us to be able to spend that much time with us.
Yes, and we talked about that I think earlier on in one of our recordings, because the thing that is always so important to me is time. You can get back relationships, you can get back, if you wreck your car, you can get that back, but the one thing you can never get back is time. And so you have to be really careful about who you spend your time with. And if you're at work, you're paid to work for 8 hours a day. You have no time to be sitting down having personal conversation, and it's really tricky the way people do it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like this guy came to my office one time and was telling me, I need your advice. What do you think about this? Because this is what happened between me and my wife. Then I found out later that him and his wife wasn't even together anymore. So in other words, he was just trying to strike up a conversation with me and to see where I was. To see where I was in my relationship. And so you have to be really careful about that, because that's how adultery first starts. The focus is gone, then someone else has your attention, and then bam, there goes adultery, and your marriage is going downhill real fast. And so you really have to pay attention to your communication with your mate and with other people. You have to watch them. You know, Pastor Hinds would say sometimes, you sound suspicious. But when guys be coming to me, I'll be looking at them, and in my mind, I'm like, what do you really want? You know? What do you want? I told Pastor Hinds, I have to tell y'all this.
Oh boy.
We were at a Christian bookstore. My husband and I and two of our children. And I saw him across the store. Me and my daughter was walking in another direction. I saw my husband, I saw Pastor Hinds across the store. And then I looked and I saw this girl who was staring at him. Staring at you, don't act like you don't remember. Oh. Staring at him, and then as he walked in the direction, she started walking in that same direction.
Oh, so, I remember. Okay.
So I told my daughter, I said, look, watch this. I said, watch this girl. And so he went outside because he couldn't find us in the store. So he went outside. And when he and she went out, the girl followed him outside. The girl followed him outside. Me and my daughter, we followed her. And so we stood at the door of the store. And so the girl, she walks. He's standing at the curb looking at the car, trying to see if we were in the car. And the girl walks and she goes around and stands in front of him. In front of him. And
thank you for listening as we continue our discussion on communication. See you next time.